All right, it's showtime. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm so excited for today because we've got one of my favorite people on the planet in the live stream. Let me make sure we're live, actually. I'm not seeing. Okay, we do have a countdown. Before we bring on the guest, I wanted to just give a few updates. First of all, I've got a video coming on the way. I finished it, but it's in review process with the sponsor of the video. And that'll be going up on the 28th. And that's, on Wednesday the 28th. And it's a video called 5 Leather Workers That You Should Watch Out For. It's one that I did 6 months ago, and it's definitely going to be a recurring thing because there's so many good ones out there. But you're going to want to tune in and follow these people because it's, bringing a lot of value. Just a lot of awesome, juicy leather techniques and craft and content. And so anyway, it'll be a good one. That's on the 28th. And another thing that I wanted to mention was that we are putting a big focus on short form vertical videos. And so I'm going to be putting a lot of this on YouTube with the new shorts program or feature, whatever you want to call it. And so what I wanted to hear from a lot of you, and you can put this in the comments down below, what kind of short form vertical, like quick tips and tutorials would you like to see? Or just, maybe it's just like little bits of the process or whatever it is, let me know. And I know that I ask that kind of stuff a lot, like, what do you want to see? But I even did a post about it recently on the community post in YouTube, but I always need more. I want feedback. I want input. I love to hear from you. That's the whole reason I'm making these videos. So leave a comment down the video. What kind of like quick, short tip kind of thing. Anyway, let's get to it. I want to bring in our guest, one of my favorite people on earth. He was a member of the Beardtown boy band, started in Georgia. And he's a incredible businessman, makes a beautiful product. Smith's Leather Balm. We're about to talk to Shane Smith, so let's bring him in. Shane,
Parker, my man, I had forgotten about the Beardtown boy band. That was,
dude. How could you forget?
We had that one album that went aluminum. Do you remember? It was huge. It was huge. It was
massive.
Great. How have you been, man?
Doing good, dude. I'm so glad to talk to you because first of all, I have to apologize because I'm a terrible friend, especially when it comes to texting relationships. And you've reached out so many times, and I'm really bad at getting back. But I just want to say I'm so glad we could do this, dude. I'm really glad.
Yeah, man. We're so bad. I feel like every time I see you, you're on a dirt bike or like doing some sweet kick flip jumps, like Superman, like over the handlebars. Dude, I know you're busy. Like, and we've all got friends like that, like guys we grew up with or friends we made in high school and college who it's nice to be able to go 3-6 months, not talk to someone. And then when you pick up, it's like no time has passed. So I feel that way about you and Whitney, and you guys are just awesome. So man, I appreciate you having me on, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, dude. I think back a lot about that DLS meetup, man. That was such an amazing trip to be able to hang out with you and Odin and Bill in person.
Yeah.
And not just you. I mean, there were so many people that showed up. It was so much fun. And I mentioned this with Odin, but this is something that I really wish we could be doing on a regular basis. Like that should be every 6 months at least. We should be getting together and just, chatting it up because I really miss it, man. It was so much fun.
No one wanted to leave. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
It was over and like we had orchestrated, the agenda was pretty tight. But like people just wanted to chop it up, man. And I love that about when you get 30, 40 makers in one space and they're brainstorming and they're spitballing and how do you do this and that? And if you remember, we had allotted like 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here for breakouts. And they spilled over into like 2 hours. Like people just wanted to talk and chat. So man, we need to do that again for sure. I'm a little disappointed you've got your hat on because I thought we were going to see those gold.
You mean this?
Yeah, look at that. Is this no, seriously though, is this video sponsored by Paul Mitchell?
No, it's L'Oreal actually.
Is it L'Oreal? Yeah.
I'm working on the Paul Mitchell partnership.
Dude, you look like a Disney prince. It's unbelievable, man. It looks so good.
Thanks, dude. Unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah,
dude, grow it while you have it. That's my advice. Grow it while you have it.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, man. I hear that a lot. I mean, everyone I have a lot of weird things going on with my body and my looks. I'm grateful I have hair, dude. You know, I can say that at least. So I got one thing going.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, before we get too far into this, I don't know what you have lined up. I love the fact that we're just doing this like off the cuff, like everything's spontaneous. And I got to say this, and I wrote it down. It's one of the few things I did write down, but you're not going to like this. It's probably going to embarrass you, but man, your name comes up again and again in our circle, in our community. I was just talking to Nick and Leanne at Hemlock and Hyde,
who those guys.
They love and adore you. And they said something that struck me, and I was like, man, it was right on the money. They said, I don't think Parker and Whitney realize how many lives they've impacted for the good and with the positive. And dude, it's so true. And I don't want to embarrass you or put you on the spot, but the reality is there are so many people in our circle and our community, and even wider than that, whose lives you've impacted with your kindness and your generosity and your support. And I just want to, the word that comes to mind when I think of you and Whit is like the real deal. You guys are just the real deal. When Ryan, I know Ryan was down there not long ago, Savin, and you know, we're buddies. Yeah. And so when he came home, he said, man, Parker and Whit, they're just the real deal, man. So I appreciate that about you. And thank you for being, I don't want to call you the grandfather of our community, but you're sort of like the cool big brother. I don't know. Like everyone just looks up to you and admires you, man. And I do too. So thanks so much for being a good friend and a leader in our space.
You're too kind, man. I really appreciate that. Like that really means a lot. This isn't just me blowing smoke here. That means a lot because I think you know just as well as anyone. Like there's so many ups and downs with this kind of stuff, and you know there's a lot of struggle. I mean, there's a lot of adversity that keeps you from going like, hey, man, you shouldn't be trying to do this thing on your own. Like, shouldn't you be going to getting a job that has benefits and insurance and like all these things? And then like people say stuff like that, and I'm like, I think I'm in the right place, and I really want to keep going. But what I did want to say though is that there's nothing really special about me or Whit specifically. Well, Whit, she's very special. But what I'm saying is that it's just the connection with the community. I happened to get started a little bit earlier, but it's just this connection, this putting our lives out online and building the business together with you all. I think that's what it is. And that's what I encourage a lot of people to do, because I think that it's not something that's just unique to us. It's just, we've just been doing it for a little bit longer.
Sure.
For the most part. But, I really appreciate that, dude. And I am mad at you for saying that, because I wanted to say that about you, and I don't want this to just be a big fluff up session. But, one thing, I mean, I do want to say something that, I think that this is important for the audience to hear, because when you're a small business and you're trying to make waves with very little resources and a small following, and you don't have a lot of leverage yet, one of the best things you can do is be personable, be kind of have that more intimate connection. And that's why when you and Mandy sent us a case of a bunch of goodies and the Balm, and you had a handwritten letter in there and a bunch of kind words, I could tell that you had actually been watching our videos and like you knew who we were. You weren't just like faking it. I mean, dude, I get hundreds of emails a month from online marketers that reach out to us from some Shopify list, and they say, hey, I really enjoy your videos and I want to sell you this thing. And I'm like, you didn't watch any of my videos, man. Like, I knew that you were genuine, you were honest, and you guys sent me this handwritten letter. And I don't think anyone knows how far that goes. When it comes to growing a business. And that is something I kind of wanted to get into today. Like, was that a strategy that you guys had? I mean, I know it's just because you're genuinely good, honest people, and you're loving, and you had this like good intention. But I mean, was there some kind of strategy to it, or were you just being friendly?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked, because it's a perfect segue into something I wanted to talk about. And this is something I've never told you, so I'll tell you live in person, which is really kind of a cool opportunity to do this. So I grew up in a shoe store. So I started working at a shoe store when I was 15, and I worked there all through high school and college. And the stuff that we sold in the store was a petroleum-based leather conditioner. And I don't think you know this about our brand, but your feedback and the friendship that we formed with you really changed the way we think about our business. And so it was huge, right? So this petroleum-based boot cleaner, when we first brought our product to market, I got to be honest, we thought it was a boot cleaner, man. We thought we were just making boot conditioner, right? Because that's what it was born out of. We wanted something that was non-toxic, safer on your kids, safer on your pets, could safely be applied by hand. And we made the decision in 2014 to go non-toxic in our home. And when you do that, you start under the kitchen sink. You're like, all right, anything with a skull and crossbones, throw it out, right? Yeah. So we did that. Mandy changed up a lot of our cosmetics and toiletries and makeup, things like that. And we were almost completely non-toxic in our home, which was a lot of work, but it was a really cool thing to do. And I was cleaning my boots with the stuff that I, grew up using, and it works great. And Mandy's like, that smells awful. Picks up the jar, and there's skull and crossbones on the back. Says potentially fatal, avoid contact with skin and eyes, all that stuff. So when she whipped something up, she's like, I bet you I can make something that works just as good. And a lot of people know this story, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But she whipped something up with just 3 ingredients, food safe stuff we had around the house, beeswax. She makes her own soaps and lotion, stuff like that. So when she made this boot conditioner, I was like, hey, this works great. It's not greasy. I applied it by hand, and it left my skin feeling good. But I said, we gave some to our friends and families. And I think my brother was maybe the first one to run out. And he was like, hey, man, how do I get more of that Smith's leather balm?
Oh, you got to love that.
When he said it, we're like, man, maybe this is a real thing. But truthfully, I swear to you, we went back to the shoe store that I grew up in with these little, I think I bought 24 tins on Amazon. That was it. Yeah. And we filled them, and I go down to this shoe store, and I worked there for 8 or 10 years. And so the owner, they still, they give me a noogie, and they put me under their arm, and, pick on me. And I said, listen, my wife made this. What do you guys think? And they're like, oh, absolutely. We'll sell it. This would be great. And they took us on, and we were so, I told Mandy, hey, I'm so proud of you. And Mandy really is the heartbeat of our brand, and she's the creator of it. She does all the real hard actual work, and I just get to play around on Instagram pretty much. But dude, this is the truth. So once they picked us up, I said, well, I got to find a way to market this. And we were new to Instagram. I'll start an Instagram page. So I started an Instagram page. Your page is one of the very first one. You, Odin, Little King Goods, like the Mount Rushmore of leathercraft. It's like Parker's face, Odin's face, dude. Ryan Savin. I told Mandy, I was like, I'm just going to send a sample to these guys, because we, at the time, I got to be honest, I felt like I was certainly not a leather expert. It worked good on my boots, but I didn't know, as compared to other products, like, how does it work? So I just wanted to put it in the hands of people like you and just genuinely solicit honest feedback, because I knew at the time I didn't want to go all in on this with a product that sucked, right? Like I was genuinely hoping that I would get more criticism and feedback. I was hoping you'd say, maybe the consistency needs to be dialed in a little better. It's a little too loose. It needs to be a little stiffer. Maybe back off the beeswax. It's a little too much of this or that. And to our surprise, I sent a tin to you. I sent a tin to Odin and Little King Goods, and dude, we didn't know if we would get any feedback or not. And I'm sitting on the couch. I think it was like a Sunday night, and you posted a video to YouTube, and I about jumped out of the chair. I was just freaking out. I was like, oh my goodness. You had such positive things to say about it. And here's what you said that really changed my mindset about our entire business. I sent you in a tin what I thought was a boot conditioner. And you said, dude, it might work great at restoring worn leather. And I'm sure it does. But don't miss the opportunity to put this on new natural veg tan, because what you said is it enhances that natural pop and glow and the richness and grain of that beautiful veg tan leather. And you were like, dude, I put it on new leather and it looks great. And my brain exploded, because I thought I had a boot cleaner. And in reality, I had like a leather conditioner that can be used in a wider variety of applications. So, dude, you did me a solid, man. Like, I appreciate that so much,
I'm glad to hear that, dude. Yeah, thank you. It is interesting, because I'm not a chemist. I've always imagined that, like, there's things out there that there's some kind of secret, mysterious science out there that's creating leather care products that, just need to trust whatever, but
sure.
But that's what caught me off guard. Was like, man, there's like 4 ingredients in this. It's so natural. And that's the thing, is like, leather care is really a lot more simple than people make it out to be. Like, you don't need this series of 6 different chemicals that you're applying throughout a process of time or whatever. It's really very simple. And especially with like our new natural veg leather, we sell it without treating it with anything. But if we were going to recommend something, it would be Smith's, because what you do is, what you're giving it is just a little bit of life. Like raw natural veg tan leather is very dry, and it doesn't have anything in it to keep it from being weather proofed or anything like that. So adding the natural like conditioner that you guys are making just gives life to it and helps it, like, fight off the weather just a little bit better. I mean, it's not waterproof. Like, I always have to like make that clear. I think people think it's magical or something, but it gives the leather life, and that's what's important. I mean, you have to treat leather like it's your own skin, and if your skin's scabby and drying and something's wrong with it, you got to take care of it. And so yeah, I'm just such a big fan, man. And it was really cool to kind of put that to test and just play with it a little bit. And you know what I think is the real validation for you guys was getting the mark of approval from Bill at DLS, because that dude is kind of like a mad scientist when it comes to leather care.
He really is. No,
yeah, when I went and saw his shop for the first time, he had like an entire workbench dedicated to like waxes and oils, and things were bubbling and like green lights were glowing from the, and he's like throwing stuff in. But anyway, like the stuff that he was playing with at the time that I was looking at it was like a blend of Smiths with something else that he was kind of playing with, and he was hot dipping leather. And I was like, this is incredible. Like this, you're create like some of my favorite leather ever is hot dipped harness leather.
Yeah.
And that's basically what the tannery's doing. They're heating up the leather. They're applying a lot of wax and oil and the exact same kind of stuff that you guys are making. Only yours is probably better because it's more natural and whatever. So yeah, I mean, getting Bill's stamp of approval, I think was probably a huge win for you guys, just because that dude knows his stuff.
Yeah, no, Bill's awesome. I mean, listen, wax has been used for centuries in caring for leather, right? And our recipe is so simple in nature. I can remember when Mandy came up with it, she's like, wax is the primary ingredient. It's organic beeswax, which means something to us. And then cocoa butter, which is used primarily in like skincare and lotion and like, skin creams and things like that. This is true. Every now and then we'll be in a small store and we'll pick up a thing of like skincare product. It's almost the exact same ingredients. Like we're using, cocoa butter is used primarily in skincare. And I can remember Mandy saying when she came up with the formula, hey, if it's good for rehydrating human skin, she's like, imagine how well it will work on leather, which is just an animal's hide. I was like, so it made sense for us. So, dude, I appreciate that so much. You've been very kind to us. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was hoping I had the case of your beard balm sitting here because I always, whenever I'm sitting here working, I always just kind of
need
it in there.
Yeah. Is that pretty good? It looks pretty good. That's pretty beastly.
Yeah. Thank you. Is that a different formula, the beard balm?
Yeah, it has. So we use the same core ingredients, but there's less wax. So when you're applying it in your beard, you don't want a lot of wax. So we dialed up the cocoa butter. It has more cocoa butter. And really, in my opinion, beard balms are not designed to be used as like a styling agent. Every now and then you'll get a guy with like a beard down here, and he thinks that he's going to be able to use product to style it and shape it. The reality is you need a good barber to do that. What our product is designed to do is keep the skin beneath your beard healthy and keep it from itching. Because my beard is short now, but when I had a really long one, like the skin sometimes gets itchy underneath. And so it's about introducing cocoa butter and some natural oils to try to rehydrate the skin. And I felt like when I used it, my beard was a lot less itchy. So yeah, it's pretty much the same core ingredients, but less wax, more cocoa butter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, dude, I was going to say, you look incredibly sharp right now, but I do hope to see the beard make a return.
Dude,
that thing is iconic.
I know you said you're aiming for, it wasn't Paul Mitchell. Who was it you were aiming for? But
I can't remember now.
Is it
L'Oreal?
Dude, L'Oreal. I feel like you need to hit up Hanes or Fruit of the Loom because no one wears a white shirt better than James Dean and Parker Litchfield. It's like, they're right there. It's like James Dean and then you. Every time I see you in the shop, it's like, I love it, dude. It's just that
plain white
t-shirt, that old school look. I love it, dude.
Dude, you know what's funny is like Whit's been making fun of me. I'm like a cartoon character because I just keep buying plain white tees. It's a next level 3600. It's my favorite cotton tee. And I've got like, you open up my closet. I'm like SpongeBob. I have the same t-shirt.
Yeah.
And like, I'm slowly getting rid of all the other shirts that I used to have. And now it's just all white tees. So I guess this is just me now, man.
I love it. I thought maybe it was Cuts. Cuts sponsors Peter. And so I thought maybe it was Cuts. I said, I got to find out where he gets the lead on these shirts. But no, you're looking sharp. Always looking sharp.
Thanks, dude. You know what's weird is like I'm kind of weird about logos lately, like, which is funny because I sell our own t-shirts with our logos on them, and like if I'm gonna wear a logo, I usually wear like one of our Stock and Barrel or a Buscadero, but or like someone like a company I like Smiths or something. But actually, if I'm wearing a hat too and it's like double logos, it always throws me off. And Whit makes fun of me for caring about this stuff too much, but
that's funny.
That's who I am.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. I love it.
Hey, Whit's in the house. She just said, hey.
Hey.
Let's see. Two legends right here from Todd. What's going on, Todd? And Todd's going to be a guest of ours on this live stream soon as well. I got him in the calendar.
Oh, Todd is the man. His brand is just blowing up right now. I'm so happy for him and his family. He's absolutely killing it. I love Todd.
He's doing awesome. Dude, let's get into the segment you prepared for this. I'm so excited.
Dude, I've got
I'm
a
little
really
nervous.
fun game. So you asked me to be on the show, and I'm so thankful you had us on. And I was like, man, what could we chat about? I don't like, these orchestrated. Here are the questions. I don't even want to know the questions. I'd rather you surprise me with the questions, right? It's better. So I thought up this little skit, this little segment we could do, and it's called Guess Who Made It? So like in post, this is where you would have the thing that says the little jingle, guess who made it, and it pops up. Yeah.
I'll get that made up.
Like you're on the Tonight Show or something. Have Whitney work that up. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Get on it, Whit.
I've probably got 40 or 50 wallets on my desk, right? From all of our friends, from all of our makers. People have been so kind. I bought a lot of them. I traded a lot of them. I'll send someone a case of Balm and they send me back a wallet. I don't know if I'll be able to show you this. Can you see this?
Oh my gosh, man, that's incredible.
Dude, this is half of it. So I have another one. I have another bin of keychains, coasters, like you name it. Like our retail partners have been so kind to us. And what I hate about it is like I can't use them all. I can only use one wallet at a time, right? So I've got all these wallets. I'm gonna reach into this bin and just grab one, right? And we're gonna see if you can guess the maker.
Okay, I'm nervous about this, man.
Do you think you can do that?
I think I can do it. I don't know. I spend a lot of time on Instagram in the leather world, so let's see.
Let's see. Here's one. Oh, this is a good one. I'm gonna have to present it to you backward. I don't want you to see the maker's mark.
Right.
I feel
Cover
like
that
that's
up.
cheating, right?
Yeah. That'll
True
give it
story
away.
behind this one. True story behind this one. This has been carried for about 2 years by my wife. This came by mail, and I lost it right away. Mandy stole it, and she put it in a purse because this same maker had designed her a purse that's bad to the bone. If you don't, I don't want you to guess and get it wrong.
I think I know who it is. I think. Oh, just gave it away right there. There it is. That's who I was gonna guess, dude. Because
for real?
He has a very like specific stitch look to him. It's a little bit more bold stitching, the round holes, heavier thread, but then he has these really smooth cuts. Oh, yeah, dude, that's Brian Warner, Low Tide.
Low Tide, my man Brian at Low Tide. Mandy has a crossbody purse that he made, and so when she saw this come in, I ordered this for me, and she's like, "Nope, going right in the purse." So she's got a Low Tide purse and a Low Tide wallet. I had to steal that from her, but yeah, man, I love Brian at Low Tide. He's an awesome dude.
Oh, Brian's the best.
Let's see what else. Oh man, okay, some of these are like this is just gonna be too obvious.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little quick on the draw here.
I think when the light hits this.
Oh, yeah, that's an LKG right there.
Dude,
that's easy.
No question. That's an easy one, right?
The Ryan Savvy.
So true story. I probably have 10 Little King Goods wallets.
Really?
So Ryan came down at Christmas. In fact, Ryan came down at Christmas a couple years ago, and he was like Santa. He brought like Santa's leather bag. Like the dude gave me wallets, journals.
Yes.
I think he gave both of my boys. He gave a wallet. My dad. This has been my. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but
that's beautiful. What kind of leather is that?
I'm not sure if this is shell or not. I have one in shell. I think this is the one he made in shell.
It's hard to tell after it's been aged a little bit. It changes so much.
This one's a beauty, but that's been my go-to everyday carry. But dude, can you say? I mean, Ryan's just salt of the earth, awesome dude.
He's the best, man. I know, dude. I think I fluffed him up a little too much while he was here. I just can't say enough good things about him, man. He's such an awesome guy.
I don't know, and I think maybe it's just all Canadians. Every Canadian person I've met is just like, isn't that true of Canadians? They're so friendly. They're so genuine and down to earth and sincere, and that's what I love about Ryan. Again, he was one of those first samples we sent out. And he's been nothing but kind to us. He's like a brother, man. But yeah, he's positioned on that Mount Rushmore alongside you and Odin and just like the Mount Rushmore of leathercraft.
Oh, geez.
Oh, dude, let me grab one. Here's a throwback. And I don't know.
Okay.
Dude, this is OG. This is like OG right here. This is a bifold. This is a bifold. It's got some good wear on it. But the maker's mark is it's an old one.
Dude, those are valuable these days.
I could sell this on eBay and probably retire.
You could resell. Yeah, dude, I can't tell you how many emails I get about putting the bison back in the wallets.
Dude, it's sweet. I love this thing. No, that's a pretty. And you see the patina this thing's taken on?
Yeah, it does have a lot. Yeah. Have you did you I mean, of course you put some Balm on it. You must have.
I had to put, you know what I did? I put some Smiths on it. You know, these, and I don't know if there are a lot of people on your channel who don't know or understand why veg tan leather, but dude, when I first got into it, I'm like, man, this leather almost looks pink, right? Like it's flat out ugly. But then you see a piece of anything that's natural veg that has like a year's worth of wear on it. And there's just no way to replicate that, in my opinion, with any other leather than just working for it. So I put a pretty healthy coat of Smiths on this, and then I let it sit in the sun for like a day and a half. And dude, it just tanned right up. I mean, that's it's gorgeous. How you do it.
Yeah. I agree, man. I sometimes kind of struggle with the idea of sending out the natural, like some natural, every hide we get's different too. Like some of the really fresh, bright white ones that we get from Wicked and Craig have a very pinkish look, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
But there's some you get like the new Vachetta that Buckle Guy's been selling, and then like Herman Oak always has this really beautiful like golden color to their tooling. So I'm very particular about that, but yeah, it's so true, man. A little bit of sun and some balm, and it just wakes right up.
And this is a pro tip too. I've had some makers tell us that a very small amount of our balm will resist the wax in it, kind of seals it in, and it will resist fingerprints. Because some makers say with that natural veg, you're shifting it around, you're moving it, and if you're not careful, you get a smudge or sweat or grease on it. But if you put a product like ours that has a wax in it, a very small amount, and brush it really well, let it sit for a day, and then I think it will resist the fingerprints a lot better. So little pro tip. Here, let me grab another one.
Okay. Whit said she was going to guess low tide too. She's in on
okay. LKG. This is a good one. And I'm not going to give you any tips on this one. This is one of the first people. I'm sure people have been doing this for a long time, but this maker has become a good friend of mine. He's one of the first people I saw. He always markets his wallets in a vertical orientation. And so I'm going to back up. It flips.
Oh, that's got to be. Is that a Craft and Lore?
It's not. It's not.
Really? Oh wait, I think is that
I'm gonna give you.
Weedy? Is that Weedy?
Oh, look! Can you see the inside?
Yeah, it's lined.
Weedy is another one. Like he's one of the first people I ever saw like put a piece of fabric on the inside of a wallet.
Lining it like
that's
that.
Our
that's
shop
so
rag
cool
from around here, dude. Talk about another awesome dude. So I don't know if you can see his maker's mark. I'm not holding it the right way, but dude, this wallet is just gorgeous. I hate for him to hear this, but it's too nice to use, man. Like, it's so nice. Like it just sits on my desk. It's like a really nice keepsake.
It would be kind of cool to see how that like shop rag on the inside would wear and age. Like I bet it would be so cool. You got to put that to use at some point.
I think you're right.
Cool.
I think you're right. You want to do a couple more?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's do more.
Oh yeah. This one will be. Oh yeah. You'll know this right away.
Okay, yeah, that's a Craft and Lore.
That's a Craft and Lore right there.
Yeah.
I love these guys. I mean, these guys, like they're on a hike in the woods in the Pacific Northwest, and they're deep in the woods, and they're like, hey, you know what? Let's have a barbecue.
Yeah,
it's just what we do. You see these guys? They're like miles out. They're in the Pacific Northwest. They're in the woods, and they're lumberjacks, man. Like I feel like I'm a wannabe lumberjack on some levels, but those dudes, man. And another thing I love about these guys is just the simplicity of their designs. Like there are a lot of leather crafters who are, and we talked about this at the DLS meetup. I don't know if you remember, but things like burnishing an edge, right? A lot of the stuff that we do on Instagram, it's what we call flexing for other leather crafters. Look at the glassy edge on this wallet. Like, dude, it's cool, but I don't know if the customer, like the buddies I have, like the guys that I went to school with who are not in this community, they don't know what burnished means. They have no clue, right? And so I just love the raw look and feel and nature of a lot of the Craft and Lore products. Like they're not burnishing edges, they're rough and raw. But what's wild is the more I've carried this, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is kind of a
burnishes itself.
Yeah, it's kind of a testament to the fact that you don't maybe necessarily have to burnish it, because with a lot of wear and carry, like, dude, I'm holding it the wrong way, but that edge is pretty almost burnished itself. It's wild.
Yeah. So, I love that. But dude, I'm actually a big proponent of that. I think that some people get a little bit too, and I don't have anyone in mind that I'm thinking of, but I think a lot of people get too like stuck on things having to be absolutely perfect. Like you got to have the candy glass edges,
right.
Well, and like if that's your style, if that's the way you do it, then beautiful. But like, there's a lot of people that just make gorgeous stuff and they don't even touch the edge.
Yeah.
And the business that like one of the things that I kind of credit to me getting started was a company called Colson Keene, and they're not really involved in the leathercraft community much. They're kind of isolated. They kind of do their own thing, but I saw their product. They were one of the ones that I think because their products were so raw looking, like everything was rough edge, hand cut, just like really raw. That's what made me realize maybe I could do it. Like nothing seemed too intense, They don't use sewing machines or anything that's just like very raw. And I was like, maybe I could do this myself. And that made me make the jump. And, but yeah, you really don't need it. Like Rose Anvil makes these beautiful camera harnesses. They use Horween. Yeah, and they don't even touch the edges, and they just look gorgeous. They kind of burnish themselves over time. So
they're beautiful.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big proponent of just like doing it your way, and as long as it looks what you're going for, then it's great.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, man. And you and I have talked about this privately off camera, but someone asked me recently when they knew I was going to be on a podcast, what's your single greatest do for leather starters and your single greatest don't? Like what's that one piece of information? Make sure you do this. And the other flip side of that would be make sure you avoid this or don't do that. And I've had to think a lot about the do, like what's that single greatest do? But for me, the single greatest don't, if you're picking up leathercraft, is don't compare yourself to other people. Yeah, it's so unhealthy, man. Like it's okay to look at what other people do and admire their work and try to emulate that in your own way. But dude, it's unhealthy to look at someone else who has put in 3, 5, 10 years sharpening their skills, honing their craft. They have a setup like you. Yeah. That can be really discouraging, man. If you dive into leathercraft and you get a handful of tools and you're like, man, I'm never going to be like Parker. I'm never going to be like Odin or Ryan or the guys at Craft and Laurel. It's unhealthy, man. Like if I went to the gym, I'll just tell you, if I went to the gym and took a look around at the guys like doing heavy reps, like I'm out of here. I'm never going to be their size, right? Like if you apply that same logic to anything else in life, it makes a lot of sense and the light comes on. But man, in the people that we've coached and partnered with and in our circle, I see a lot of that and I hear a lot of that. I'm never going to reach that level. I'm never going to get to that. And it's like, dude, it's a journey. And what you should be comparing yourself to, in my opinion, is the stuff that you're turning out today. Does it look better than the stuff you turned out 6 months ago? Does it look better than the stuff you turned out a year ago? And that's when you'll start to encourage yourself and go, all right, maybe I am, but don't compare it's unhealthy to compare yourself to someone who's been doing it for 5 or 10 years. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And one of the things that like I always hit on in my online course is that you really have to like build the vision or like create this vision of what you really want in the end. Like what do the products look like? What does your brand look like? And then make sure that everything you're doing is contributing to that. Even if you're getting inspired by other people or you see some guy like, oh, I've never thought about using leather to do that. Sometimes it's really easy to start chasing that rabbit and then chasing that one. If you chase too many, you don't catch the one you're really, gunning for. So that was kind of a morbid analogy.
I love it. No, that's good. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that like I've gone down so many roads. I got really into like when Herschel came out and they were like really new. Yeah. I mean, it's not even like in the ballpark of like the world we're involved in, but I really like the style of their bags. And I was like, I want to make our stuff look like that. And so I started like looking more into canvas, and this was before I had touched a sewing machine. So it was so far out of my reach and out of my wheelhouse. And it really took me down a path that like started changing, how I did my business and started making me like lose faith in my own model because I'm not Herschel. And then I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not Herschel. I don't need to be Herschel. Like they're their own thing. They're this like super hipster, whatever thing. I don't even care about them now. But like, I wish I would have just kept focus of like what we are and what we do and take some inspiration from things, but don't lose sight of like your vision of what you really want to be. So yeah, it's hard to do, but inspiration's a big part of like how we create, I wouldn't have started creating something if it weren't for Colson Keene. So my first couple bags looked a lot like theirs, but then I quickly kind of found my own route and that's just part of the creative process and it's okay. But yeah, man, I think that's super important what you're saying.
I think you're an example of someone who you didn't get burnt out. And here's what the danger in comparing yourself to others. And then people ask us the other question that people wanted to hear answered was, how do I scale? How do I take this from a small business to a bigger business or a larger business? And I think that's a great question. But the question you should ask yourself is, should you scale? Do you want to scale? Do you need to scale? Do you understand what the ramifications, if you are successful in scaling, is it going to strip all the joy and rob you of all the, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I could rattle off 24 leather crafters and their story begins like this. Tell me if you've heard this story before. I needed a belt. I wanted a belt. I wanted a wallet. I wanted a camera strap.
Yep.
So I walked into Tandy, or went to District Leather Supply. I ordered some leather and some tools, and I loved it. Man, I put my hands on these tools. I made something. And there's something satisfying and rewarding about, I don't care if you're like stacking firewood, man, you stack firewood for a day. At the end of the day, you kind of sit back and you look at that pile and you're like, got some work done, man. It's just so rewarding, right?
Yeah.
And so many leather crafters, they go, man, I fell in love with this and it became my hobby. Before long, I was spending all my money on this hobby and it grew to be my passion. And now I'm passionate about it and it's satisfying. It fulfills me and it's rewarding. And then what they do is they take that passion and at some point they go, all right, passion, now I need you to pay all my bills too.
Yep.
Like, whoa, dude, that's like a different game, right? Like, so not how can I scale, but should you scale? Do you want to scale? And there's so many guys who go, man, I'm in it now. I quit my job and I made my passion my full time, and they're miserable. Like, not all of them, and there are some exceptions to this, but if you're not careful and if you don't scale and grow the right way, I think there's a possibility for all the fun to just be stripped out of it, you know? And so the analogy that I use is like horseback riding. Man, if you're into horseback riding because you love being out there and the connection you have to the animal and nature and your outdoors and the wind in your golden locks, you know, like it's fun for you. But then if you decided one day, like, this is going to be my daily driver, I'm going to ride it up this horse up and down the interstate to work. Like, it just wasn't built for that. You know what I mean? Right. So like, man, I hate to see leather crafters who go all in and they're like, it's not fun anymore, you know, or they compare themselves to others and, hey, if Odin can do it and Parker can do it, why can't I do it? What am I doing wrong? And the reality is maybe they grew too fast or shouldn't have scaled, or what they had as a passion and a hobby, they shouldn't have tried to convert it to an income. Does that make sense?
Yeah, or they just had the wrong perception of what the income looks like. Because I think a lot of people just assume the only way to make money in leathercraft is to make a bunch of products and sell them, and eventually that's going to lead to me having some big factory and you know, hiring 20 people and they're all chugging away on machines and you're just running a factory now. And that's so far from like what like you're missing such a big boat if that's what you're striving for. Because honestly, I think that once you have a massive factory with 20 employees cranking away on sewing machines, you're going to be miserable. I guarantee it. You're going to be so stressed out keeping up with the maintenance on the machine and your building, and you know, you're going to be a full-time HR guy just trying to figure out whose shift is, you know, what time. I mean, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. There are so many ways to make this a living. And by the way, I've caught a lot of flack. A lot of people will say, well, the real money's not in selling your leather work, it's in, you know, teaching the craft, and they say it with like this really negative tone, and I'm over here going, well, but also that's not totally true, because if you look at a pie chart of our revenue, it's still a majority is our physical products that we're selling, but it is shifting a lot. And I kind of had this realization just last week. I think that I was like, first of all, there doesn't have to just be one person teaching it or sharing resources. I don't even consider myself a teacher. I don't see myself as like, here's the way you should do it. I am mostly just sharing the things that I've learned and like figuring out things on camera, and people learn from it, and that's great. But like, I'm trying to just bring value in other ways. And I think that there's room for everyone to do that. You look at photography, there's millions of people doing wedding photography out there. There's also tens, hundreds of thousands, maybe, people on YouTube. Okay, maybe less. Tens, thousands of people that are on YouTube teaching photography, and a lot of them might be doing both, and that's totally fine. But they're creating some versatility in their revenue. They're having fun with it. I guarantee you, they're having a lot more fun making YouTube videos talking about you know, getting a good shot than they are going to the weddings getting the shots.
Sure.
And I think that there is so much room for that. I mean, there's only a handful of people that are making content on YouTube. And by the way, I don't think that YouTube's the only way to go. I think there's a lot of ways to go down this avenue, or just getting creative and finding different ways of making money other than just trying to become a factory. So that was the main point I'm trying to make. And I don't want to see people, like you said, I don't want to see people lose the fun and the enjoyment of the craft. There's ways of keeping it enjoyable and learning a lot. And, you know, so anyway, that's
I think that's, I think you put that as really well stated. I just don't, and I don't want to discourage anyone from getting into leathercraft. I think you and others have proven that you can earn a good living for your family. What I just want to caution them to, don't compare yourself to others. I think it's unhealthy. And don't get discouraged when it doesn't blow up for you overnight. It's going to take, I think the reality is, and tell me if you ever feel this way, but when you're successful in business or in anything and people want to know like the secret potion that you put on it, and a lot of times it's just a lot of hard work. It's a lot of time.
It is.
What you want to know, someone goes, well, how did you get to, and you've got way more followers than us, but we're sitting at 25,000 followers, and my friends who are starting, how did you get there? With a lot of hard work. With posting a lot and engaging and responding to comments and talking to people. I wish I could wave a wand over everyone's Instagram account and have them blow it up. But like the reality is, and in your business too, it's you and Whitney have had to make some sacrifices. You've had to put in long hours and you just had to work hard,
It is so funny that you say that, dude. It's kind of like, I see it, it's like losing weight. Like a lot of people want this magic pill that you can swallow. Like, what's the hot new diet? Like, I got to try this new thing that's going around. But like the reality is, you want to lose weight and get healthy, you just got to eat better and exercise more. It's a very simple solution.
Right.
And it's also a lot of hard work. It's not easy. And that's the main reason I'm in the shape I'm in, because I haven't put in the work. And so it's the same with leathercraft, like, or starting a business in general. It's just like, I think people know what they need to do. It's just a matter of putting in the work and just grinding. It's not easy. Like no one's going to sit there and be like, this is overnight, get rich quick kind of thing. It never will be that. But it can be really rewarding. Like that's the one thing that I try, and to me, that's kind of the Twinkie on the stick that's dangling in front of me, is like, I get so much enjoyment and fulfillment. And I'm sure you're the same way. Like you're sitting in this beautiful office or studio space that you've rented, and you're connecting with people that you love. We're talking, like, we're friends, we're hanging out, like we're doing things that we love. This is a fun thing that we get to be a part of. And that's the rewarding part. Like I get to do fun things every day, and I don't dread going to bed every Sunday night knowing that I'm going to go to work on Monday. And so sometimes my message gets confused. I've heard people say that, like, oh, he's just trying to like be the salesman for just trying to be Gary Vaynerchuk or something and be like this, get rich quick, whatever. It's not that. It's not that. It's I just get so much enjoyment from what I'm doing. And if other people want to get there too, I have some things that I can help get there, but it's not get rich quick. It's not easy. It's a lot of work.
Right.
And I think for the most part, people know what they have to do. It's just a matter of doing it.
I've got a couple of buddies that they're entrepreneurs, and we're always brainstorming and we're talking about what's next and what's the next big thing going to be. And we sort of laugh because in my opinion, there are like two families of ideas, right? And this first family of ideas I'm really good at. And it's brainstorming and thinking of things that would be cool if they existed. And you go, oh, dude, you can describe like a restaurant or a product or an idea or a service. And like, yeah, man, if that existed, that would be so cool. I would use it. Like, that's really cool, right?
Yeah.
And then the second family of ideas is one I've never really been very good at. It's, hey, here's an idea that would make a crap ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And you can't, like, if I came to you and I said, like, let's imagine like Stock and Barrel didn't exist, right? And I was like, dude, I've got a get rich quick scheme. We're going to buy like super expensive, top quality leather. We're going to hand measure, hand cut, hand stitch everything just as a single craftsperson. And then we're going to try to sell it. Like you'd be like, you're out of your mind. Like, it's not exactly a get rich quick scheme, right?
Right.
So,
I've had people that are like, you should go on Shark Tank. I'm like, they want nothing to do with what I do.
Oh, yeah. Kevin O'Leary. Yeah. Mr. Wonderful would just annihilate me. He'd be like, you're selling beeswax. I'm going to start Mr. Wonderful's leather balm. There's nothing proprietary about it. But what's cool, Parker? And like, this did not dawn on me until right now, but like, how cool is this? So I saved what might be the best wallet for last. And tell me if you recognize this beauty right here.
Oh, number 68 action.
Dude, what's really cool? And I just got this in the mail, so it doesn't have any wear on it. Yeah. This thing, honestly, when you handle it, it's like, immediately, like, I'm going to give this to my son one day. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not going to end up in a landfill. Like, some products you don't want to scuff or scratch, but like I'm excited to see how this patinas and develops. And I know I'll give it to one of my boys one day. But what thought I just had is like, I'm looking at, in my opinion, what's 5 or 10 of the top leather crafters in the game. I have one of Odin's wallets somewhere, but Little King Goods, Stock and Barrel, Low Tide, Union, Craft and Lore. And you know what's really cool? I just had this thought. Every one of these wallets looks completely different. There's no mistaking. There is no, in my opinion, there's no mistaking your wallet, which has like that Western tack. Like, I feel like I ought to be riding a horse. Like there's no mistaking that for like the fine details in like Ryan's carry, right?
I know.
Like, I set these down and my 11-year-old could pick out who's who. You know what I mean? Like, you've carved out and you've created such an identity for you and your brand. And for anyone to get insecure inside the world of leathercraft about, and I loved hearing you and Odin say this on your last video, but like, there's room for everyone at the table, and a rising tide lifts all ships. And so to sort of bully other crafters or people who are getting started in the space, it's just unnecessary, man. I mean, there are 5-10 of the top leather crafters in the game, and you all have such a unique look, and you're all in the same craft, but you do it differently, man, and you do it so well. So
yeah, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's why I wish I could remember. Someone brought up a really awesome point. It was like this big long post about how we shouldn't look at leathercraft as art. And honestly, all of the points that were in that, I agreed with. I was like, no, these are all really good points, but I have to push back a tiny bit on that, because I do think that that's what allows room in the market, because it is an art in the sense that everyone can pick something up. Like Ryan, Odin, and I could all pick up the same tools and same pattern, or have the same idea of making something, and we'd all come up with something completely different. And that's why there's so much room, because someone's gonna like what Ryan does a lot more than what I do, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
So yes, there's plenty of room, man. It's crazy to think otherwise.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head. And like, last year we started this little venture. We're not doing it as much now, but we were coaching small business owners through how to build and grow their brand and grow their Instagram. And dude, we worked with so many clients that are just, they've got a heart of gold. They're new in leathercraft. How do I build and grow the page? And we have to steer them away from trying to knock off or copy the top leather crafters in the game. And Mandy said this, and I hope you don't take it the wrong way. And I don't mean this with any disrespect, but Mandy scrolled our Instagram, and she's not a technical person at all. She doesn't like being on the computers or Instagram, but she's scrolling Instagram, and we follow a few hundred crafters, mostly our retail partners. But when you scroll our feed, it looks like this: wallet, 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 bag, coaster, wallet, wallet. And she made this comment, and she didn't mean for it to be disrespectful, but she said, at some point, it really just becomes about what insignia or maker's mark do you want on the wallet? Yeah. And she didn't mean to strip anything away from the hours and the dedication and the art and the skill that goes into the craft. But what she meant was, it's about which brand and maker resonates with you as a person. And what we were trying to coach people through is, all right, you're new to the world of leathercraft. You go ahead and pick out who your heroes are and try to emulate them. Like you said, draw inspiration from them, I think is the key word, draw inspiration from them. But if you're just going to be a knockoff of Stock and Barrel, like the world already has Stock and Barrel, no one's going to buy your wallet when they could why would they buy a Stock and Barrel knockoff when they want your brand? And so it was about identifying who you are as a maker, what sets you apart in the space. And we love, like, there's something romantic. Like, I've never been to Utah. I want to go so bad, but like, just the thought and the idea that this came from Utah, it was made in Utah. I'm being honest when I tell you this, these wallets, when a friend comes up or when my dad pops by, like, I don't pick up a wallet and go, look, Dad, look at the glass edges, look at the burnishing, and look at the stitch line. The ones I reach for are the ones where I have a close personal connection to the maker. And it's so not about the build quality, if I'm being honest. It's all about it's all about my buddy made this. Like he made this. Like he measured it, he cut it. It's his pattern, it's his design. He pressed it in there. And like there's something, I guess, romantic about that, just that thought and idea. And so I think that's a misstep on a lot of brands to strip away the personal connection they have, their upbringing. Like I was coaching one guy through, and he's telling me, well, I got into leathercraft as I was trying to get sober, and I've had this battle with alcoholism, and I'm finally clean. And I was like, dude, that's the most interesting thing you've told me about yourself. Are you comfortable sharing that? He's like, 100%. If I can help anyone or share, I'm like, dude, that's,
I love that.
Those are the things. So it's not so much about, and what we were coaching people through is when I scroll that feed, I want to see, if possible, you and your family and where you live and your backyard and where you grew up and your stomping grounds. And if you live in St. Louis or no matter where you live, like what are the cultural landmarks? Like, how did you grow up?
Yep.
And we're longing for that personal connection with the maker. And I think that's what you do so well, man. And I think
thank you.
Beginners and starters would be wise to take that model from you and how to incorporate on a healthy level your family and your personal interests, and you do such a good job of that, man.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I really appreciate that. It is like, it's our strongest tool. It's the one thing that big corporations like Coca-Cola and, you know, Apple, whatever, that's the one thing that they can't do. No matter what, they can try as hard as they can, but they'll never be able to replicate it or fake it.
Right.
And I know that there's a lot of big businesses that try to, you know, and like it's a worthwhile thing to invest your time to, for sure.
Yeah.
Telling your story. Yeah. I agree with that, dude. I've said this I just lost him. Sorry guys. We just lost Shane. I'm going to see if he'll jump back in here. Let me send him a quick text. Just lost you. Can you? Oh, there he is.
Man. I don't know what
happened. You're back.
Sorry about that. I got kicked off. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Technical stuff drives me crazy. But anyway, yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that. But yeah, dude, it's our strongest tool for sure. Telling us. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I've said it multiple times in the last couple of weeks, but like I personally don't get super excited about the nitty gritty details of the craft. I don't care about what stitching punch you buy or what. You know, so many people email me, what thread weight do you use in your sewing machine? I'm like, use whatever looks good to you. You know, like in the end, it doesn't matter because it's your story, it's your background, it's your brand, it's all of that. That's what matters. That's what's going to make people buy, not whether or not you're using 138 or 92 in your machine. You know, so yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, man. It's a really good point, and I think that's like, as we were talking about this before, but Instagram. We're all having a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out how to use Instagram right now. And I think we should get into that if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
But the main thing is like we're all struggling to figure out the algorithm and the, you know, what posts work better and whatever. But I think like one of the most important things you can do is just communicate your story. So how can we do that the best way?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We were talking about this a little bit before we got online, and what was I going to tell you? I had a really good thought about this. Mandy. So our wives, and you know, our wives, they're so much smarter than we are, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot cuter than us too.
Dude, this is a gut check right here. But I've said this for probably 2 or 3 years, and we coach people through this. If you lost your Instagram login information, would you still have a business? And I think the reality is a lot of the smaller crafters and a lot of people who are new to this space, they're like, dude, I got locked out of login. I got of Instagram. Like, I don't have a company anymore. I don't have a business. And like, for the first several years, Instagram was so good to us and it was such a good platform for us. We'd make a post, it would generate some sales. We got a lot of visibility. And you know what? It's kind of dead right now. I've found they're kind of dogging the small business owners. You've got to pay to play. And I was really discouraged about it. I was really bummed. And Mandy is so wise and so thoughtful. She's like, honey, it's almost like, imagine that Instagram was like that one farmer's market that you were going to every weekend and you're selling through all your product. And this is incredible. And so, you know, 6 months goes by, a year, 2 years. We were so fortunate and blessed for years to have a platform that afforded us a really productive sales channel. But guess what?
Yeah.
That farmer's market's closed, right? Does that mean that I just hang it up and I'm out of business, right? Like, oh, we just shut it down. I guess we don't have a company anymore. And when she put it that way, I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like this platform has afforded us a really unique sales channel, but guess what? It's not productive right now. So either you can sit and pout about it, or you can just find a way to find another sales channel. So find another farmer's market or find that another and for us, that's meant picking up the phone. This is the first time we've had to in several years, pick up the phone and call. Like, you know, leathercraft has been so kind to us, and the world of leathercraft probably only makes up 40 to 50% of our sales. A bulk of our sales, or 50% of our sales, are in footwear. And so they're to boot stores and outfitters and shoe stores. And so the change in the dynamic on Instagram has meant that we've had to go back and sort of reevaluate our business model. All right, Instagram's not bringing the sales, so I got to pick up the phone and call more shoe stores and outfitters and boot companies and try to network that way. And in a short period of time, man, we've been able to find new partners. So I guess I would encourage people, don't get too discouraged. we don't know that the current algorithm is the way things are going to continue. You'd think that they're going to reward creators and content creators and champion small business. I hope they do. But if they don't, we can't get so discouraged. That's what I love about your brand, man. It's just the way your brain is programmed. But like, all right, Instagram's not bringing in the sales that we had anticipated or wanted. So you shift to YouTube, or you get on TikTok, or you figure out, you know, what the next thing is going to be. But man, God forbid we get so discouraged when Instagram's down that we just hang it up, right? We can't think that way. Yeah,
man. I don't like the idea of putting too much into any one platform anyway. It's just, it's so out of our control that we shouldn't kind of allow ourselves, like, we shouldn't be able to, I just don't want to position myself in that way. But in the end, yeah, it's like you said, it's just about finding how to adapt, and there's really nothing wrong with that. It's kind of exciting to me, honestly. Like, there's this kind of concept going around, like Peter McKinnon just did a video about it actually, but I've kind of been testing it behind the scenes for years. And that's that what kind of content performs better? Is it the one that is super, you know, you use a $10,000 camera and you're shooting 120 frames per second and you got the lighting just right and it looks very professional and you got the text that kind of appears beautifully and like that kind of stuff? Or is it when you're just holding your phone up to your product and you're just walking through people and talking about it?
Right.
Which one of those does better? And I think, so Peter McKinnon was doing a test recently and I don't think the results.
I saw it.
I don't remember. Do you remember what result? I think it was kind of even at the time that he posted the video.
Yeah, when I saw it, it was, yeah.
But I know that from my experience, I'm always surprised by this and kind of frustrated by it because there's videos that I'll put weeks into with all this effort and, you know, my lighting and like I get really into the gear and all that kind of stuff. And it just won't perform. And then there's one where I just like pick up my phone and I don't put any effort into it and it'll get like 500,000 views on Reels.
It's wild, yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, okay, adapt, adjust. The bottom line is people just want to connect with you. That's all it is. They don't care about your artsy fartsy take on whatever. Yeah. And then there is a place for that for sure. Like Ryan and I were talking about this. He's kind of got this like backdoor, you know, plan to like build a beautiful cinematic experience of the makers in America and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't want to get too much into it. I don't know if he's really talked about it, but there's this really cool approach that I think people would eat it up with a spoon on Netflix or something, you know, but when it comes to connecting with a brand on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, the more raw and personal and intimate you are with your audience, the more that's going to reciprocate. Yep. And so I've been really trying to take that approach more. I'm not putting as much effort into these like square images that go up with the text. I used to think, okay, I got to be doing this every day. I got to make sure I have a post up. And the results from that are just really anticlimactic, nothing to sneeze at, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But for some reason I can put up a Reels video and it gets 500,000 views, which, by the way, I'm putting up YouTube videos and putting a lot of effort into YouTube. I've got sponsors coming in for them, and they get maybe 10, 15,000 views. But my Reels, my Instagram Reels, and some of my TikToks are getting like 500,000 views. Yeah. So it's crazy to me that I'm putting, you know, sometimes it's really hard to kind of like realize like, well, where's your focus? Where's your priority? Like when I post a video here and it's 30 seconds long and it's reaching that many people, this is the best way I can communicate with my audience. And I'm going to kind of lean into it. So I think that's what it comes down to is just how are we communicating? I don't care what logo is at the top of the app I'm using. Right. You know, I don't care if it's Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I don't care if it's mostly like teenage kids dancing on TikTok, whatever. If it's working and I'm going to swallow my pride. I'm going to do whatever it takes because I want to connect with an audience. And so, that's kind of where I'm at.
I've told a lot of our partners this and the people that we counseled, and I think this is true. Tell me if you think this is true, but this is just funny. Like if you invited 100 of your followers at random, just 100 followers to come hang with you and like, say you're in a gymnasium, right? So you got 100 of your followers, right? And you go, everyone's kind of mingling around, you're having a drinks or whatever. And you go, hey guys, I want to share something really personal to 100 people, random followers. Can I just tell you, 10 or 15 people are just going to hit the door. They're like, I didn't sign up for this. I just came for the free meal. I think his stuff's cool, but frankly, I don't care to hear anything personal, right? Yeah. But maybe 5 or 10 people draw closer because they want to hear what you have to say because they're invested. My argument would be those 10 people that hit the door, they were never going to buy anything from you anyway. That wasn't your customer. Right. So there's a lesson here in knowing and understanding who your customer is. And so people get discouraged. Man, I put up this really personal post. I'll just go ahead and tell you, you put up a personal post with you and your kids and maybe where you had lunch. Maybe 5 or 10 people bounced. They're like, I wasn't following for this. I was just here for pictures of wallets. Well, that dude he was never your customer anyway. He was never going to buy anything from you, because when you post something with your family and you're at lunch, like I show Mandy, I'm like, look at these guys, this family is so freaking cute. I'm like, look at these kids. Oh my God. Parker's out on the dirt bike. Like the people who are into the brand and they're into you, they double down with that personal stuff that you share. So you can't let it discourage you when someone, does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah.
The other thing you said, it's another, thing we've coached a lot of people through about building on Instagram. So many of the partners that we made, they're like, I said, listen, you need to outline your short-term and long-term goals for me, because I don't want to tell you what your goals should be. Like, I don't want to tell you need to do this, this, and this. You tell me what success looks like for you. And what are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? And almost everyone was so nearsighted. I want 10,000 followers on Instagram. I want to blow it up on Instagram. And my point was this, and tell me if you would agree with this. Like, you wouldn't build a house. Like if your neighbor poured a concrete foundation and was like, hey man, you can build on, you wouldn't go build a 3-story house on a foundation that someone else owns and they're going to continue to own it. Right.
Exactly.
So my argument was, listen, instead of, yes, be on Instagram, connect and engage with your customers and your followers, put some content on there, but build on a foundation that you own. Buy that domain. So many of these people are like, I want to blow it up on Instagram. And I go, well, what's your web address? Well, I don't have a website yet. And I'm going, dude, let's build you a website. Let's build something that you own and you own the foundation. Let's build on that. Let's have a blog. Let's have a journal. Let's have a photo gallery where you share what you're doing and build on something you own. Instead, I feel like so many of us now we're reeling because we've spent the last 3 years building this little kingdom on Instagram. But someone else owns a foundation and it's crumbling now. And we're going, oh man, I've lost all this time and energy. But had we spent it in creating video content like you have and building your YouTube following and building your website, I think we would have been a lot better off,
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that, man. Yeah. I'm glad we're having this talk, dude, because sometimes it's hard to remember, just kind of keep all this stuff in the forefront of your mind when you're just going about day to day, So yeah, dude, I really appreciate that insight. And I hope everyone in here is listening to that advice and that input, because this kind of stuff is huge. Oh, there it is. There it is.
My kids bought me one of these. Do you have one of these?
A bottle?
Yeah.
Is that a Stanley? What is that?
No, my kids bought it for me. It's called a hydro flask. We were using too many plastic water bottles. So
I've got this one.
I got a lot of our friends on there. I don't know if there's a lot of people you would recognize. Wesson, you know the guys that you got a Wesson knife, don't you?
Yeah, Billy. Yeah, they're awesome.
He's an awesome dude. Well, dude, you tell me, like, do you want a quick tour? I mean, we talked about doing this. I don't know for sake of time. Do you want to peek around? I don't know that our space has ever been on camera ever. So if you want to peek around, I can show you around. I don't know how much time we have.
Dude, I've got all the time in the world for you. And that's definitely one of the things I want to do before we jump off. Let's get a studio tour.
Okay. So we're on the 3rd floor, and this is just wild how it all played out, but there's a building that was vacant. It's about a half a mile from our house. And to kind of pick up where I left off, at the inception of our brand, my wife's making this stuff. She's making it out of her stove in our kitchen, and I'm like, honey, listen, whatever you make, you just keep and spend on yourself. That one shoe store that I worked at as a kid, they bought a case. It's like $100. And I told her, honey, you keep that $100. Like, it's all you. You buy something nice for yourself,
Yeah.
And so then we start to build and grow the Instagram, and we had more retailers. And within like 6 months, she's filling like 1,000 tins a week. And it was sort of like, hey, could you also pay the mortgage with that money that comes in? Like, that'd be really good. But, and listen, and this, as we scaled and we grew, like those tins that I told you, like the first one, I bought a 24 pack and they were like $1 a piece. And then it was like, oh, if you buy 1,000, they're like 50 cents. And if you buy 10,000, they're a nickel. Like at some point, I guess they're free. Like, I don't know how many you have to buy, but as we scaled and grew, we're like, oh man, I'm going to buy these in larger quantities. And so then our house just became like a warehousing facility for beeswax and tins. And we're like, we need some space. So we've got this space now. It's a half a mile from our house. And then I'll show you out the window. About a mile in the other direction is the ocean. So we're right here on the coast. Beautiful. And dude, your family has an open invitation, man. Anytime you want to come.
We're coming, dude.
We would so love to have you.
Whit and I actually talked about it recently because I think it was after you sent us something. I can't remember, but yeah, we're like, let's get out there. We're planning a trip, so
You
it's
guys
happening,
have to
dude.
come. So
yeah,
I built it up enough. It's not great, but this space, we're on the third floor. Third floor, what was a vacant building. It had old carpet and drapes. We tore it out, put down wood floors, painted the walls. One of the challenges is, as you'll see, there are 4 dormers in this space. Not a lot of headspace, but enough of the build up. I'll show you. And so I'll walk over to our. I don't think I can rotate this camera, but what I can do. Tell me if this. So this is. Are you looking down our flight of stairs?
Yep.
You see that carpet?
Oh, dude, that's beautiful.
That nasty carpet was everywhere, right? So we.
Wow. And was that hardwood floor just there?
No, we put it in. So we tore up this nasty carpet.
Wow.
So this was our carpet. Tore up the carpet. My boys and I put in these floors, and so I'll give you the full. We'll kind of show you. That's where Mandy. That's Mandy's desk. She's the boss.
Oh yeah.
Or she's kind of shoved in a corner. That's our melter in the corner, and then lots of good windows, good light.
A lot of natural light in there. Yeah.
And then I've got a little photo corner over here. I'll kind of show you around. This is where we shoot. Dude, is this not proof that you don't need a lot of space to shoot decent content? Like all my flat lays are right here in this corner. I got some of the greats. I feel like I don't know if you can read these hats, but
look at
like
that.
Some of the great. I've got some of the greats here. Yeah. So, dude, I shoot all of our top-down product photography right here.
I was gonna say that, like, as you're walking around, I'm seeing like, oh, that's where that shot was done. That's what. It's dude, so cool what you've done with that little space.
Just a teeny tiny little corner. Yeah. So
awesome.
And then we have our little. We take our orders right here. This little corner is just kind of junk, but let me show you our melter. This is our. Oh, look at that! Little stock and barrel action.
Oh yeah.
So that's our melter right there.
Killer.
And then we have a secondary melter on the bottom. But yeah, dude, it's been a good little space for us. A lot of our core ingredients are over here in the corner. Oh, I didn't show you this corner. More just supplies, man. We've got brushes that we're selling now, and shop rags, and all kinds of other stuff. Dude, this is it, man.
It's so cool to see this
little assembly line. This is where we kind of fill orders and grab what we need and ship it out. We ship all our orders same day. So we'll get 30 or 40 orders a day. Anything that comes in before 3 p.m. gets shipped same day. So really simple business model. But dude, that's it.
I love it so much, dude. It's weird. Like, I love seeing that side of it, dude. Like this really confirms like everything that we were just talking about. I just feel like seeing the space and being able to visualize like how you're shipping things and how it's happening behind the scenes, like really connects you to your story and your personality and everything. So I love it so much, dude. It's cool. Do your kids get involved much with you guys? Like, are they helping out shipping and stuff?
It's funny, when they were younger, they were like really jazzed about it. So we've been, this will be our 4th year. And like 4 years ago, let's see. So they would have been, between 8 and 12 years old. And dude, they were excited about it. They were fired up, man. Back then you could pay them in like fruit snacks and goldfish. You know what I mean? Like those cracker snacks.
Oh yeah.
And dude, they were stoked. And then as they got a little bit older, they weren't as interested. My boys in particular, they're 17 and 15 now, and they weren't as interested in fruit snacks, but you could bribe them with like extra video game time because they only get like 1 hour video game time a day.
Yeah.
And so it was like, hey, listen, we got a big push. We got to make a lot of Balm. They do all the labeling. So they'll come up here. We have some folding tables. We'll lay out folding tables. With this melter, we can do almost 1,000 tins in one day. And that's not even really pushing too hard. Come up here mid-morning. I'll have the kids separate all the tins, stage them. Our melter will reduce what we'll pour about 1,000 tins in 2 hours. So it's pretty quick. We sit here and pour them. But yeah, now they're getting less and less. They're motivated now by money, of all things. Like they don't want video game time anymore. My son's saving for a car. He's 17. And I told him when he was 12, I said, look, buddy, I'll make you the same offer Grandpa made me. Whatever you save, I'll match. I was like, so when you turn 16, I'll match whatever you have. Dude, that was the biggest mistake because he's a lot better than when I was a kid, my dad made me that offer and I saved $1,200. Well, do you know that when I was a kid, $2,400 would buy you a pretty sick car, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, right? So and not that I got anything great. I got like a 91 4-door Honda Accord sedan, but I thought it was the best. Well, I told my kid at 12, I was like, dude, just save your pennies. Do you know that he has not spent a dime over the last 5 years? Every birthday, every report card, every Christmas, he saved $7,500. He's got $7,500.
He's gonna have something.
So now I'm trying to talk him back. Now I'm like, I hope he doesn't watch this, but now I'm like, buddy, listen, if you got $7,500 to your name, like you don't want to spend all that on a car, you'll be broke. Like maybe just spend $5, and then they keep $2,500 in savings. That's a responsible thing to do, like trying to go Dave Ramsey on. I'm like, listen, you don't want to deplete your savings, but
and what does he have his sights on? Is he looking for a Jeep?
Like me? Yeah, I've had several Jeeps, and like for me, like the Jeep is my place. Like we live on the coast. I'll take the top off the Jeep. I take the doors off if I've had a long day, and I just go run up and down the coast with Mandy. We'll find a place to get an ice cream cone or something like that. But like a Jeep is like, to me, more than a vehicle. It's like something to do, right? You're like, hey, Friday night, what are we gonna do? Let's just hop in the Jeep and just go for a ride,
Dude, yeah, you're speaking my language, man. We could do a whole other podcast just on talking Jeeps. I love it so much. And the sad thing is I don't even have one right now. I've driven a Jeep every day since I turned 16. I bought a YJ when I turned 16, and it's been like, and I was brought home from a YJ from the hospital when I was born. I mean, my dad's driven Jeeps ever since he was young, so it's such a deep part of our family. And when I hear you say stuff like that, I'm like, I totally get that. And I don't have one right now. I had a JK that had like 250,000 miles on it. So I sold it and got a little truck so I could haul my motorcycles, but I got to get one soon, dude.
I know you sold it. I heard somewhere. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I don't know if you can see it down there.
Oh, JK.
Can you see it? Yeah, it's a 2014. I don't know if you can see it.
Beautiful.
I'm sure everyone watching really wanted to see my Jeep, but
dude, you
sold a Jeep in order to fund your startup, didn't you? Is that part of the story?
I did. Yeah, dude. It's funny because like there's a lot more to that story. The video simplified it quite a bit just because I didn't want to confuse everyone. But it's funny how it all worked out. Like I've actually done it a couple times. I had a 2000 let's see, it was a 97 Sahara TJ that was gorgeous, dude. It had only been pulled behind a motorhome since it was bought, and so the interior was just like pristine. I had put like 33 some Rubicon wheels. It was my perfect Jeep. I loved it. And I sold it because like Whit and I were just about to get married, and I wasn't really driving anywhere. I was working from home, so I was just like, I think I'm going to sacrifice this. And that was a massive sacrifice. It really tore me up because I bought like $4,000 worth of leather, and not a single one of nothing was anything I could have actually used in the product. Like, I don't know what went wrong so badly, but it was a nightmare. And I think I sold the Jeep for like $9,000. But then I also did it again years later when I had built a 19, what was it? What was it? It was a CJ3A. I think it was a 48 or something. But anyway, it was an old flat fender Willys, and I had built it, and it was gorgeous. It even had like a 6-cylinder in it from a Ford Maverick that just like it ran beautifully. I drove it everywhere, dude. We were going to the drive-in movies. Whit and I just like it was going to get ice cream, whatever. It was the perfect like little vehicle. Just for like cruising around in. And that was another one. I sold it so we could have some funds to, fund something. I don't even remember what it is. And that's what's sad is like, it just disappears. And this is why I'm always trying to preach like this bootstrap style of growing your business. Like there's so much you can do for free, and you can go little by little. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices and it's fine. But yeah, dude, I'm going to get a Jeep again. I'm looking at the Gladiator. I'm also thinking about maybe just getting the classic 4-door JL. We'll see.
Yeah,
but
do it.
I'll be in the club again.
Yeah, we gotta have you guys come up and we'll take you out in the Jeep. Yeah. That's the thing. When you come to Maine, you get a lobster dinner, a ride in the Jeep along the coast, all the beeswax you guys can carry home. I mean, that's a deal, man.
My beard will be looking so healthy. While we're there. Yeah, dude, I can't wait. Let's make it happen.
For sure, yeah.
And, dude, before you go, there's one more thing I wanted to do. I just want to answer some of these questions so we can – I know a lot of people are pitching in and, asking some good stuff here. So we can keep the questions short. I don't want to take too much more of your time.
Sure, no, I'm good.
Let's see. We've got so Whit said, looks so awesome, Shane, probably from the studio tour. Tim Singler drives a Jeep. Do you remember Tim from the DLS meetup?
Oh, I do remember Tim. Yeah.
Tim was awesome. He's one of my favorite guys. He's been a massive supporter of ours. Like from
Is it Titletown? Is it Titletown?
Titletown. Yep.
Yeah.
Such a good dude.
He's
right
an
there.
awesome dude. Yeah, I like him.
Drives a Jeep. Josiah, love Josiah, said, "Hey, good afternoon. What's going on?"
Is Josiah the red beard, red hair?
Yep.
I'm telling you, yeah.
He's bringing it with the content lately, man. He's putting out some awesome videos.
He's killing it.
Let's see. I'm trying to find a question in here. We got Mike Swaim says, "This is good, Shane. Loving the stuff you're doing."
Oh, thanks.
Let's see. Shane just mentioned it. What's your pin? Okay, well, here's one we could bring up here. Emery Telly. While we're at it, Shane just mentioned it. What's your opinion on sustainable materials? Many use sustainability as a USP. What do you think? Have you considered this for your business?
Yeah, we made a push recently to try to use as many recycled materials as we can. Our custom packaging paper is recycled.
Oh, cool.
We're big on like the presentation. I know everyone is now too. Like you buy something from like Pete's Pirate Life. Dude, the stuff that I got from you, honestly, the stuff at Stock and Barrel, like it's an experience. Like, and I think our dad's generation, like that unboxing, like he doesn't even know. I said unboxing to my dad. He's like, what the heck are you talking
what is
about?
That?
Get a box cutter and open the darn thing. You know,
I never thought about that, dude. That's
it's like, no,
funny.
Dad, this is an experience. You know, we were in the car and I got something to the post office. He's like, well, aren't you going to open it? I was like, oh, no, not till I get home. He's like,
yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I want to.
It's an experience.
I got to wait till I get home. It's an unboxing experience. But everything that we use is fully recycled as much as we can. So like, and that's kind of our whole vibe and our whole heartbeat anyway, is trying to use things that are sustainable, things that are recycled, try to minimize our environmental impact. So the paper, I could bring you over there and grab one, but dude, it wasn't cheap. It was a little bit more expensive, but in our opinion, it's post-consumer recycle. Let me see if I can bring it over here and show you a piece. Cost a little more, but I think it really adds to the experience. It's on brand for us. So let me show you this piece. You'll be able to see it.
Oh yeah, that's
so
that? Good.
Oh yeah,
it's
so it's
beautiful.
Recycled paper. I think we probably could do a better job if I'm being honest. But I think all of us should be trying to do what we can as much as we can. You know, within reason to be conscious and aware of that and try to minimize our environmental impact. So that's a great question.
Yeah, I love that. And you guys have always done a good job with that. And it's kind of part of your brand too, because your product is such a natural product, free of toxins and so it definitely makes sense to have something pretty sustainable, and you guys do a great job with that. Like, I don't know if you're still putting things in those wood boxes. Is that for like wholesale accounts? But dude, we use that thing all of the time. Like in photos, we just use it for organization.
Nice.
Like I constantly do, and that in it of itself is kind of a sustainability thing. Like you sent it in something that we can now use functionally in our workshop, and we're not just throwing something away.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. Well, when we first brought our product to market, so again, I grew up in a shoe store, and I'll just tell you, like tins of shoe polish. I'm at 20% battery life, so if I cut out, you'll know. But
okay,
dude, tins. We would part of my job as this little 15-year-old stock boy at a shoe store, right? Was like organizing all the brushes and the tins of shoe polish. Dude, every little 5-year-old who came by just knocked at the tins, knock them over, right? So I spent my days like picking up and stacking them, and I've got a touch of OCD too. So I always want them organized neatly. And we knew when we brought our product to market and we were partnering with retailers, like we want a box, like we want something that this can go in, that looks nice, it looks presentable. But it was also important for us that it'd be multi-purpose, multi-use. And once they have one, you're good. So like when we partnered with Tandy, like this is our biggest opportunity yet. Tandy had at the time 110 stores in the United States and Canada, and we built 110 wooden retail display boxes.
No way.
Dude, it took us probably 2 weeks. Like a friend of mine who's a local craftsman here in Maine, he's a carpenter, awesome dude, had some reclaimed lumber that we sawed down, and like, dude, you've seen them. That's the box you're talking about. But
yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up. We're trying to do our part in terms of sustainability and lower our impact. So no, that's good.
Well, they look good too, man. Like Michael and I went to Tandy the other day just to grab something, for a project, and you might have seen it in a video. We put it in the video, but
I did see it.
Yeah, like it's so cool to walk around Tandy and then all of a sudden see something that your friend made. Like that's one of those things you mentioned earlier. It's just so much fun.
Dude, that was wild. And again, it wouldn't have come about, and it's kind of circling back to some of the themes that you and I keep talking about and revisiting, but it just wouldn't have come about without the people that we've met. Man, there are so many people that we've met, and the guy buys a one product, $8 tin of Balm, and he's chatting me up on Instagram, and like an hour goes by, and I've been chatting with this dude who made a singular transaction, $8 purchase, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm all about meeting the people and connecting, and he's like, I'm a store manager at Tandy, and I'm going to give a tin to the president of our company. I'm like,
no way,
dude, what in the world? Here I am, like, chatting this guy up, Yeah,
and
it's
you
just
never
proof
know
that, if you enter into these friendships and relationships and you just be kind and just be genuine, like, you don't know how the universe is going to position itself to, things like that just seemingly fall in your lap, but it's just because of the connections you made with other people. It's wild.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, I love that. It's always worth just going a little extra mile, getting to know people and connecting a little more.
Have you got any other good questions in there?
We got Mike Simmons. He must be watching it from back. He says Jeep Gang. He just bought a really cool TJ, and
nice.
It's in the shop right now. But yeah, he's been having fun with it, so he's part of the gang. We got let's see, any specific tips for Smith's Leather Balm for a full grain leather couch?
You're gonna need a lot of it.
Yeah.
So we've used it on our couch. A little does go a long way. You probably need a 4-ounce tin or maybe 2 of the 4-ounces. I would highly recommend getting our horsehair brush. Here's the thing about our product. It only contains 3 ingredients: beeswax, cocoa butter, almond oil. But the science behind it, leather will not absorb beeswax. So wax just rests upon the surface of the leather until you buff it out. So sometimes, every now and then, someone will do a couch and they'll go, man, I did the couch. It looks incredible, but it has a little bit of a tacky feeling to it. It's a little sticky. Well, beeswax won't penetrate leather. So you have to take one of our horsehair brushes or a good rag, and just a little bit of friction, just a good brushing, seals that wax, and it eliminates that tacky residue. So if you grab a tin, man, I'd love to see what the results look like, but make sure you get a brush and do that.
That's really good to know, actually. I didn't know that. If you heat it up, will it drink the wax up a little bit? If you heat the leather up?
You know what's crazy, Parker, and you said something about this earlier, and I found it to be true, is that every single leather responds differently. Whether it's Chrome XL, Veg Tan, even within Veg Tan, the tanning process, it's wild because you can take the same product and put it on 10 different hides, and you're like, oh man, this one responded.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh no, are we losing you? We might have lost him from his battery being dead. I guess we'll see if he jumps back in here in a minute. Let's see. Jathan17 says, Parker, do you create your own logos? There we go. He's back. Nope, we lost him again. Shoot. Okay, Jathan says, do you create your own logos and branding for Stock and Barrel? And Busket Arrow. I'm so glad you said that, dude. You must have been the one from my Instagram live stream. Are you the one that said that earlier? Because that was so funny. I'm still laughing about that. There we go. You in?
I'm in, man. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
It bumped me off.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're good. So finish up where were you at?
Oh, I was telling you about using a brush to seal the wax.
Yeah, that's right.
All leathers respond differently in my experience. Some are, some it'll darken a shade or two. Others, it doesn't seem to darken much at all. But that's why we recommend, if possible, testing it. That dude who asked about the couch, try it on maybe the back and see what you think about, because it might darken it a shade, and you just got to see how you feel about it. So yeah,
that's good to know. I said, man, we got to talk about this stuff. There's so much I didn't know. All right. So I never answered Jathan's. I'll do this one quick because I want most of these for Shane while we got him. But he said, do you create your own logos and branding? I do. For the most part, I've done all of our own stuff. I did have Fiverr. I tried out Fiverr once and got a really awesome logo. That sticker that Shane just showed on his water bottle. That was from like a $5 thing on Fiverr, which is really awesome. So I always encourage people to try that out. If you're short on funds, that's a good way to go. And then I'm also saving my pennies right now to get a new iPad Pro, because I have so many. Like I'm a big fan of like just playing around with illustration and wanting to do some more of that, but I haven't done much recently. The logo that we use is like I've been using it since like 2014, so we need a refresh for sure. Let's see. Josiah says we bring your boxes to all our shows. Love them. That's so cool. See more of that awesome sustainability. Thanks. I'll friction the heck out of it. Awesome.
Yeah.
We used we used 2 4-ounce tins on our leather couch. Really brought it back to life.
Oh, dude. That's awesome. Thanks, Josiah.
Great. Let me see. Two legends. Okay. Luke says, what % of both your success was business acumen?
I'm going to have to look up acumen, so I'll say 0 for me. Like, just put me down for 0. Parker, you feel that one.
I'm the same way, dude. I don't even know. I mean, I kind of get from context. I don't have any business background, if that's what you're asking. I completely bootstrapped from day one. I have no idea what I was doing, and I still don't most of the time. Just figuring it out, trial and error. I research a lot. That's one thing I recommend is like, like a lot of times Whit will say stuff like, how do you know how to do that? I'm like, I've spent, like, sometimes I'll stay up till 4 a.m. watching weird YouTube videos, learning how to do stuff. So there's ways of learning. You can dig in. I don't know if that's considered acumen, but
dude, I'm a college dropout. It was my sophomore year in school. I had a good job and I got promoted at my job. And I knew guys, I had friends who were graduates who were desperately trying to find work, and they had marketing degrees. Graphic design was popular at the time. IT, computer science was the super popular degree. And I had guys who were just desperately trying to find work. And I was like, dude, I've got a good job now. I just got promoted. I was making pretty good money. And I just, shame on me. Like, maybe I should have finished. I'm trying to tell my boys. It's hard now to tell your boys, you got to stick it out. You got to get ready to go to school in college when you dropped out. But like, I don't know if that's related to acumen. I will look it up afterward. I promise you that. So anything I lack in knowledge, I make up for in effort, so I'll try to go figure it out.
Me too. Yeah, dude. Hopefully that's encouraging. Like that should be something people can lean into. Like, oh, these two are idiots, and they've somehow figured.
Well, so now that they've spent an hour and a half listening to us ramble on, at the end we've completely discredited ourselves. We've completely discredited ourselves by proving we're not an authority on anything outside of how to melt beeswax and make
so
leather
true.
goods. Oh, that's funny.
That's a good place to end it, dude. I want to sign off before we lose you on your battery, but thank you so much. This was a huge pleasure. I'm so glad to have you on here.
Yeah, man, I had so much fun. Please give my best to Whit, and love Likewise. You guys. You're the best, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, man. We'll catch you later.
All right, buddy. See you.
All right, bye. All right, that's it, you guys. Man, what an honor. I love Shane. I wish I could be doing this every day. This is so much fun. Did you go to YouTube University? Yeah, thanks, Josiah. I don't know if that was for me or for Shane, because Shane's photography is top notch. For me, YouTube University, man. That's it. I had a little bit of photography education when I started working for a company called Tamrac and Guru Gear. It was like there were 2 companies in one kind of thing, but I was marketing for them, and I got to go to like some pro photography workshops, sit at Corona Arts, like waiting for the sun to come up. And I would just like pick these guys' brains while I was on these workshops, and I would just soak everything up. So I had 0 experience with photography at that point, and I kind of picked it up from there. But I mean, most of it was just basic stuff. I got a mirrorless camera, which basically teaches you how to shoot manual, and I really enjoy it too. Like, I love the gear. I love being creative. It's just another creative outlet for me. So yeah, but dude, I mean, we're preaching to the choir here. Josiah, you've got incredible photography, and you know what you're doing. So thank you for that. Hallie Jean says, thank you, Parker. There's so many bugs in here. There's these little elm beetles that have completely taken over our shop, and they're usually like crawling on my face while I'm doing emails. Look, there's one right here as we speak. It's going to be in the whole live stream, just sitting on my shirt. Oh, it's annoying, man. Anyway, thank you guys all for jumping in. This has been a fun live stream. All your comments that come in, I'm reading them. Usually I try not to interrupt the conversation that's happening in the moment, but I am reading all the comments. So thank you guys for, participating and jumping in. Redeemed Creations Co. says, thanks, Parker. That was great. Parker's going to be the JRE of the letter. I'd be honored, man. That's so funny. I mean, maybe I'd love to keep doing this. So I think this is so much fun. Let me know in the comments if there's someone specific that you'd like to have me bring on, because I started out thinking I'm going to do this every other Friday. It was more so going to be like, I think I'll just do this to kind of fill in the gaps from when I can't get a normal video up. But I'm having so much fun with it. And it's gotten good feedback. So I think I'm going to start doing it every Friday from here on out. We've already got the calendar booked out for like a couple months. So, yeah, this has been fun. Let me know in the comments who you think we should bring on, and I'll work on it. Jim Jenkins says, great video, Parker. Enjoyed it a lot. YouTube University, baby. That workshop would have been great from Josiah Hansen. Oh, yeah, dude. It was multiple. It wasn't just one. It was like I was doing them like every month or so. It was so much fun to go to these cool remote places and learn a lot from these guys. So Luke says, double subscribe. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to sign off. I think I've been talking too much as it is. So thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.